Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the eve of the Game Awards 2024. And the more we hear about this, the more people keep saying that, well, Geoff Keighley has cooked for this Game Awards. I mean, that is the running narrative. At least that's what the kids are saying. And listen, the more I hear about it, the more that I've talked with Kay, talked with Hargeet, it sounds like this is going to be something special. Now, granted, there are a lot of things surrounding this Game Awards. One of which is Sony's 30th anniversary. I think there's going to be something there. Again, that's just my thought and theory. There's no proof to it, but it makes sense. Geoff is, really in tune with PlayStation. It is his favorite brand, and it is the 30th anniversary. Whether you like PlayStation or you're not, you can't argue. 30 years of anything is a really freaking big deal. And granted, I know that Sony hasn't done the right thing by consumers for quite some time. But if you go back to some of Sony's past history with PlayStation 1 and 2, specifically 2, man, talk about an unbelievable console for sure. Lots of great games, lots of great experiences. And, there is room and reason for celebration. This is the 10th anniversary of the Game Awards. At least the produced Game Awards, the way Geoff Keighley is doing it. And that's also a really big deal. Again, I've said it before. I do think that Geoff has done leaps and bounds and even like a mile worth length strides for gaming. I don't like how he's gotten here in some instances, for sure. I'll be the first one to be very nitpicky about the way he does his business. But, whether you like the man or you don't, he has catapulted gaming to mainstream. And the Game Awards, listen, again, folks, if you don't like it, don't watch it. But it is the most viewed game show of the entire 12 months. It always is. And every time there's a new Game Awards, there are new records being broken in regards to viewership. So it is a money-making machine. There's no doubt about it. People are lining up at the door. He's charging quite a bit of pretty penny to get your stuff up there, almost as I don't want to say it's as much as the Super Bowl, but it's starting to encroach on some big bucks. But at the end of the day, listen, I'm going to watch it. We're going to be talking about it on our annual day after the post show. Hargeet is going to be joining us that Friday morning to kind of get into it. It's Friday the 13th. Listen, don't believe that bad luck stuff. Breakfast with Boom is going to be a loaded cast. We're going to go into all of the games and things that would happen, who won, who lost. It's going to be a fun show Friday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But we're here to talk about Game Awards predictions. But that's not the only topic, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be getting into the Matt Booty interview, where, again, I said even to Kay, well, this sounds like maybe they've kind of, turned their thoughts and theories into what goes to PS5, how it goes to PS5, and how long it takes to get to PS5. But Kay Asante has a great theory, and I think he's onto something. But Kay, how you feeling, brother? Welcome back.
Oh, I'm doing well, man. I'm happy to be here as usual. Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's primetime gaming. It's Hump Day. Let's go. I'm here.
Oh, indeed. Pause.
It's pre the Game Awards, and I hear there's some excitement, so I'm here for it. Let's go.
Indeed. And Hargeet, listen, brother, we were talking before Kay got here, and there's a lot of theories. Jeff Grubb has thrown his hat into the ring, or should I say his wig, as he does when it comes to, potentially, talking about things going on in the background. I have a quote from him. I pulled from Reddit. Jez Corden had some interesting thoughts and theories backed up by none other than Paris Lilly himself. I think we're in for something special tomorrow, but the running narrative seems to be that it's going to be a lot of multi-plat announcements, which again, it does make sense simply because, again, it is what it is, right? But how you feeling, Hargeet? Welcome back, brother.
Yeah, I've been playing way too much Indiana Jones, and
indeed,
sleep is a luxury at these days, and
I love it.
Just keep playing. Though, as I was saying before we started, I'm in the jungle area, and it is my least favorite. I'm very annoyed with it. I don't like the way it totally breaks the like explore everywhere thing. I don't know. It's just very irritating. But outside of that, up to that level, it's been great. So I'm just muddling through this crappy level, and hopefully it'll get better after that.
So, I literally just got there. I
Jones.
just got the boat. So I just stopped at the first base that I'm now starting to knock people out. And interestingly enough, there was a part right before that. You know what I'm talking about. Again, no spoilers here. Where I thought I was going to be forced to use a gun, and I did, and then I was like, I haven't fired a shot since I started. I'm going to reload the save. And even though like that particular board was very heavy, I still, folks, have not fired a single shot in Indiana Jones. I have beaten the balls off countless Nazis, but I have not fired a single round, and I am proud of myself.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm doing the old sneak.
First thing I did was shoot a shot just to see what would happen. And everybody and their mama came running. I'm like, okay,
Indeed,
I guess I know why I shouldn't do that.
So listen, Hargeet, let's go now. You got it. Did you get a chance to read the Matt Booty article that I sent over?
Yeah, I did.
So let's get into what Matt Booty had to say, because obviously there is stuff here that I think is worthy of a conversation. We will get Kay Asante's opinion on it. Now, the article that I sent and I pulled was written by Samuel Tolbert, great journo from Windows Central. I haven't had a chance to meet Samuel as of yet. Maybe the next E3-ish or whatever it's called. He'll be out in wherever. I'm assuming it's going to be LA. But the title says, and it's a quote from Matt Booty himself, "We have been really pleased." And this, of course, Microsoft Gaming Studios head Matt Booty talks about shipping Sea of Thieves on PlayStation 5, Xbox exclusives, and more. And just a couple of quotes from Matt Booty. Now, obviously, this is a very controversial topic. If you look at what's happening next year specifically, some of PlayStation's biggest releases are going to be Xbox first-party games finding a way onto the PlayStation 5. Indiana Jones is coming in the spring, and he specifically talks about that, why they decided to hold off releasing Indiana Jones on the PS5 until spring of 2025. You also have the new Call of Duty, which is expected to be a follow-up or a sequel to Black Ops 2. And of course, well, one of the big ones, Doom: The Dark Ages. Now, granted, I still think that there is going to be at least one other big. I don't want it to, because I'm an old man and I don't really like the crossing the lines thing, but it is the business. I believe Starfield is going to be next year. Again, that's just a thought and a theory. It is not me talking to anybody with Xbox. It's just that it makes sense. It comes out next September. It'll make its 2-year anniversary. I'm sure they'll have the DLC ready to go, and there'll be some sort of a Game of the Year edition that includes everything that we've already played or gotten on Xbox. It's going to happen. Now, do I want it to happen? Am I pushing for this? No, I'm not. But I also have no control over what Microsoft does. And after 2 years of playing Starfield by next September, I mean, maybe it goes, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I have a feeling it will, but that would be 4 really big AAA games, and those would be the highlights. Again, taking nothing away from Ghost of Yotai, I'm sure it's going to be a great game. I'm very excited for that, but that's been hit with some criticism as well, and who knows? Is it going to be as big as Ghost of Tsushima? Well, I don't know, but let me read the What You Need to Know section of this article by Sam Tolbert of Windows Central. And it says this: Matt Booty, president of game content and studios at Microsoft Gaming, spoke with Variety in a new interview. Booty touched on a number of topics, including reactions to the recent Xbox Game Showcase, the closure of Tango Gameworks, and bringing Sea of Thieves to PS5. Speaking on the latter point, Booty says that we have been really pleased, while noting games are continuing to be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. So here is some of the quotes from Matt Booty. And this is what he had to say, Hargeet. We are beginning to hit the rhythm that we have always aspired for. And that really is our commitment to our players, of being able to deliver a much more steady cadence of games on a more predictable rhythm. Now, again, this is coming from Matt Booty. He says, noting that fan and press reaction to the showcase has been extremely positive, with praise of the number of and variety of first-party games shown and slated for the next couple of years. He goes on to say, we certainly want to make sure every game is given space, and he has not gotten an opportunity to shine, and we don't want to end up overshadowing a game by launching it too close to another. Adding that the portfolio planning revolves around ensuring the teams don't conflict with other companies' titles, but also so that we're not in our own way. Now, one of the interesting parts here during this interview is first-party games and how they get over the PlayStation 5. Hargeet, before I hand you over to Mike, let me just read one more quote from him. He says, those decisions are never made lightly, and they're never made quickly. There are a lot of people and processes and oversight to make sure we're making a good decision. Booty says, when asked about the closures, adding that he didn't want to share nitty-gritty details, but mentions that Microsoft looks across leadership at studios if the teams are set up for success in the future, not just if they were successful in the past. I mean, listen, this is going to be a running conversation for years to come. So far, it's been 4 games and 4 games only. Now, there's going to be a 5th game. It is Indiana Jones. Is there going to be a 6th game? Well, I would consider that Doom: The Dark Ages. That is a multi-plat. It is, of course, Xbox first party. Call of Duty will be a 7th. Will Starfield be the 8th? I don't know, but I don't really, and I don't want to pull from Kay Asante's point, because I want to hear his thoughts, but this is something that's not going to go away. And even though it's not being really, the point is not being driven home with Sony, Sony's going to get here at some point. Now, I don't know how deep it's going to be for Sony, but they already have a game on the Switch. And that game is probably coming to Xbox at some point next year, because guess what? It didn't sell well on PC. It didn't sell well on PlayStation. I don't know what it sold on Switch. If they're going to continue to make games, they're going to have to put them other places. And the last of the Mohegans, so to speak, like the film, it's going to be Xbox. Let's get your thoughts on the interview from Matt Booty.
Yeah, I mean, this is just more of what we've already kind of heard from him before, right? His ideas are like, they will still be doing exclusives, and he keeps saying launch exclusives. Just keep hearing that phrase, launch exclusives.
Right.
So there's no guarantee that any game couldn't potentially go over, and that's kind of what Phil was saying. There's no like specific red line or anything.
Yeah.
And that's all he really meant by that. That doesn't mean that everything's going over. He's just saying, like, look, we will make a choice based on what makes sense. So let's say they look at, Gears E-Day and say, would this be better served if it had more players across multiple platforms? Maybe, right? And so they're going to look at it from that perspective, right?
Sure.
Is South of Midnight going to be substantially more successful if it comes out on other platforms? Maybe, but then again, it could also be a good pull for it as an exclusive, right? There's things like that. Starfield, by the way, is probably one of those games that is a good exclusive. It doesn't necessarily need to go over. It's gotten the engagement it needs to. It could expand. It absolutely could expand. It also could be a marquee title that says come to Xbox to play it. That is a potential way for it to be looked at. Multiplayer games is kind of the thing, unfortunately, and Xbox kind of is a multiplayer game company, and those games, Halo, Gears, they really do kind of benefit from having a larger population. I hate to say it, but that's why those games actually kind of make more sense to go everywhere. But I also hate the idea, Xbox fan, to see Halo I even take Gears, Halo, going anywhere back. But you know what? Ultimately,
Man.
I think what's good for the franchise is what matters more. And so if this is the way that Halo expands itself and gets better and better, fine. I'll accept it, right? But those are the things they're going to look at. It's metrics. It's where is it going to help the game? Where is it going to help Microsoft? Where is it going to help the players? That's what they're going to do. And they're going to look at that overall. In some cases, it's going to make sense for it to just go. Sea of Thieves, perfect example. It's a multiplayer game. The more players, the better, right? And as you pointed out, the engagement on the other platforms, PC and Xbox, where it came up before, went up when PlayStation came in because they wanted to play against the players on the other side, right? And it's just, hey, my friend now got it on a PlayStation. Let me go play, right? It is what it is, right? This happens. So that's what they're looking for. And you could see that kind of thing happening. Now, there could also just be like, hey, we'll take the older ones. The problem is if you want to grow the franchise, right? So let's say take Master Chief Collection and put it out there. If you want to grow the franchise, you should do that. But you're going to have to kind of bring the other games too, right? This is why like Sony is relenting on the multiplayer games. They're day and date PC. They really should be day and date everywhere. They'll eventually get there too, because that's what it needs to do, right?
Yeah.
You don't want Concord again. You need to have multiplayer everywhere. You just
there's still fair games there, fella.
It is what it is, right? I mean, like, especially with new things, you kind of want to give it its legs, go everywhere and see if it picks up anywhere, right? And see what you get. So I think they're gonna and a lot of live games fail. We know that. Like Ubisoft just shut down. Right? It is what it is, right? This is what happens. So you want to give it as much chance as possible. So I can see that happening, but that's what they're saying. They're basically saying, look, we're going to look at it case by case. What's right for the franchise? What's not going to harm Xbox? That is still something they care about.
Yep.
What is going to keep our consumer base the way it is, and what's going to expand the franchise, expand the profit margin, and expand the user base, so that we all just benefit, right? That's the intent, right? So we'll see what they do. I think there's going to be some games that go over. Smaller games might go over. Just why not? And then some of the multiplayer games, I could see it happen. And as we know, ABK, generally, it's going to pretty much be multiplat. Bethesda is going to be hit or miss. We will find out. There'll be some games that'll be exclusive, some probably not, right? We'll see. We'll keep seeing what they do with that. Xbox Game Studios games, again, I'd say like half of those could very well be on the other side. You never know. But hey, I think they'll keep some. Again, all of this stuff kind of goes away in a few years as everything kind of converges into a different world. But we'll see when we get to that world. So as far as the other stuff you talked about, the Tango thing keeps coming up because everybody's kind of annoyed with it. I get it, but reality is he's already told you why. It's leadership. Like the head of that, like the game development, not the head of the studio, but game development left and took kind of the talent with him. It is what it is, right? So what do you do with that? Like it's one thing if you're established over there and you know how to handle things in Japan. They don't. They're not doing so. They can barely do the stuff here. Come on. Like, what are they going to do in Japan? How are they going to handle that? Right. This is kind of their headache. And like, okay, we're going to rebuild this. How? Right. Like, who's going to do that? How do we make sure it works? So it just, unfortunately, they have to cut their losses. It is what it is. Arcane, is anybody really going to like blame them for Arcane? You can't. After Redfall, come on. It is what it is.
You know what?
Nobody's crying about Alpha Dog.
No. But interestingly enough, to your point about Arcane specifically, what wound up happening is much of the talent of that studio got disenchanted with Redfall
because of the multiplayer,
and they left. They wanted to tell a single-player, story-driven, Arcane-like title, and this was a multiplayer or a co-op type of game. And what wound up happening? They lost some major talent. So then what do you do after Redfall? Do you trust the leadership there? I mean, listen, I'm gonna say this right now. I don't advocate for anyone losing their job. This world is too fucking hard. Oh, pardon my French. To keep to keep food on the table now. And again, that's my emotion coming out because people don't understand how like serious this is. So when people lose jobs, that there's nothing to smirk at. That's somebody's life, man. So yeah, I never advocate for that kind of stuff. But again, when the talent leaves, and listen, I loved Redfall. I put over 80 hours. I'm not embarrassed. I loved I started 3 characters. but it wasn't a complete game. It really wasn't. I just loved the game. So what? I loved a C game. Okay, fine, but yeah,
and there are games
that's
like that, and people can enjoy them. It is what it is. It's fine, right? So the other thing he mentioned, which is something we kind of already knew, is they have a lot of games, and now it's getting to the point where it's like, when do we put these out and not trample our own games? This fall, they've been doing that. They've been trampling their own games because they have too many games coming out in September, October, November, and like they had to put indie out in December. Maybe that's because it wasn't ready. Fair enough, but like they had too much stuff in the last few months. They really need to pace that stuff, and they need to make sure they're not hitting anybody else in the third-party arena, right? Especially games that they're marketing. They have to work with them to make sure they don't crush their sales. Also make sure that they're not crushing their own sales. So this is stuff that they have to, and Matt's been saying this for years, right? So this is not new again, right? Like it's a spreadsheet of where do I put what? And like now they're going to have games in their back pocket, like Hi-Fi Rush, and they're going to have to put them out strategically when they have an open spot, right? Yeah. That's just the world they're in because they have so much, right? And that's just the way it's going to be. I think games are ready to go. They just don't know when to put them out. And that's kind of where it is. And that's good in a way because they can keep polishing it. But at some point, you need to just get the return on that and let the team move on to the next game, right? So this is kind of where they are. Like we'll see how they handle this because look, Clockwork looked like it was kind of getting ready to go. State of Decay looks like it's kind of getting ready to go. Like, but it's already at least 2026 because they already have so much 2025. Right? Do they then pull in even more in 2025? No, it's probably going to be because GTA may not come in 2025, but that's what they're saying is coming. So, and if it does, you get out of their way. Don't put out more stuff. You get out of their way, right? And if it's not, then it's 2026. And now what do you do? Because now you have to get out of that way, right? It is what it is. So, like, and Microsoft's going to have to, play out their thing, right? They also don't want to compete head to head with Mario coming out, because that's going to happen with that new Switch when it comes out. So you just have to deal with these things, right? So we'll play through that. We'll see what happens. But that's exactly what he's talking about. And it's just the world they're in. They have so many studios at this point. This is really just a juggling operation of what comes out when. And even if it's ready, it might be a year and a half before it releases out because they just don't have a slot to put it in, right? This is just the world they're in now. Which is quite fantastic if you think about going back to like 2015
when the Xbox literally had no games. Yeah.
We had like Mojang and like 343 Coalition and Rare, right? Do we have any? Oh yeah, and the Forza team, Turn
10,
Take 10, Turn 10, Turn 10, right? So that was that's what they had, and now look at where they are. Like there's so much coming out that they don't know where to put it. So
it's a good. I put it to this way: it's good. It's certainly a good problem.
Get ready for the onslaught, right? That's what
indeed. Again, if you feel like you don't have time now, wait until 2025. You're going to be.
And all of it comes to Game Pass day and date. You get to enjoy it day and date if you have Game Pass.
Indeed. All right. So, Kayasante, you had a fantastic thought and a theory, because like myself, when we were talking today, I was like, yeah, man, maybe Xbox is kind of, maybe pulling the reins a little bit back. And you're like, well, it's not really. Let's get your thoughts on it, because I wasn't the only one that approached you with that thought.
Sure.
Let's get your theory on it.
So yeah, this morning I read the report, and I saw a bunch of folks' takes. I saw some cat memes, WTF, they say A and now they're doing B, Y, and I don't know, like I was saying to you, like to me, it's not really news, and no disrespect to those who want to cover it. Obviously, he's had a new interview and we're speaking about it. But what I mean by it's not really news is it kind of falls in line with what they've always said, right? People are taking it, they're saying it as if Matt Booty now saying case by case counteracts Phil Spencer saying there's no red line, which I don't see how that works, right? I see there's definitely no red line because Phil Spencer said so, and it's a case by case basis because Booty said so. To me, that just means we'll still decide what games go versus what games don't, but there's no game that's safe. If we feel that it should go, it should go. In other words, Is there a world where they could evaluate, say, a Halo? I can see that, right? That's what the no red lines means. But the case by case is where people are still taking issue. And honestly, like, and I've said this to you, and people have heard me talk about it before, I really don't care if they put their games elsewhere. I'm lucky enough to be able to play on multiple platforms, right? And even if I'm not able to, even if I don't want to play on that platform, I can make things happen. I'm looking at you, Nintendo. Anyway, we'll keep it moving. The problem I have is, for those who you, Microsoft, have cultivated for as long as you've cultivated, you cultivated them in the sense of the console war. Not really the war, but hey, we're giving you exclusives and it's for you and all of that, right? Even recently, they were talking about consoles for you, right? The problem I have with that is, until you define the terms of what case by case really means to those people, you'll still be right back at square one with people always asking the questions, right? So if it's case by case, I hear you, but what is the factor? What changes? Like, with the exception, and I know what Hargeet has been talking has been saying right now, multi-plat games, live service games, sure, but not all of the games that have released fit that mold. So the question becomes, what is your barometer? Like, is it a time length? Is it a type of game? Is it once the game has reached a certain threshold on the Xbox or the Xbox platform, now you can broaden it? I honestly think more people, or those who care, would feel far more comfortable if they had some kind of rubric, some kind of matrices that they would be able to use to go, okay, we understand what happens here, right? Because until that happens, and again, I really don't care, because it'll still be where I buy my games or where I play my games, and it'll be on Game Pass and all of that. And I advocate for you also not to care, because your life is much better that way than caring and getting mad every time it, But I do understand. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had this conversation this morning because, again, listen, folks, I want this to be clear. I don't like bending the knee for nothing, but I certainly don't like bending the knee to putting games on PlayStation. I understand why they're doing it. I absolutely understand.
But you know what it is, Boom? I've had conversations with friends, like good friends, and I always push back on that notion. Well, they're giving PlayStation games where they're bending the knee to PlayStation. Do you know what they're doing? They're walking into PlayStation's house, seeing all the people in PlayStation's house while PlayStation's sitting there looking at them. PlayStation has not been able to get them to open their wallets, and Microsoft is going, $1 please, $1 please, $1 please. And everyone is giving them in PlayStation's house. How is that giving them anything?
No.
How is that? They're losing. No, I'm not talking about you. This is the sentiment how can they give up play? They are literally walking into PlayStation's house and disrespecting them by taking their money. That's what they're doing. So how is that seen as a failure? In fact, you should be like, yo, them dudes is bold. Like, they're going to the market leader's house that has been cultivated, right? The market leader is the market leader because he's cultivated that big ecosystem, and they're walking in the door going, money, please. And everybody's going, okay, here you go. Thank you. Like, seriously.
Look, that's nobody has been at this level, so it's very hard to navigate these waters. I've been saying this before. Nobody has been at this level of a platform holder at this level of publishing. It's just too many games to say we're going to lock all of it down. Yes, they will have exclusives. They will have exclusives. That's going to happen, okay? No. But it's just not. Just look at what PlayStation's exclusive list is versus the amount of sheer games that Xbox has. There's no way they can't do it. And look, they're not done. They're going to buy more, right? They've already said it. We're going to invest in our studios. They're going to do it. So if they're going to buy more, you can't expect them to make it exclusive. There's no way. It just doesn't fit. Yeah. They're going to say,
it doesn't make sense.
Where it makes sense, we'll do the exclusivity. Where it doesn't, it's going everywhere.
But Hargeet, that's the part where, while I am a guy who's always gamed on all this different hardware, so I love it and it's all good. That's the part where those who are hardcore look, I won't hate on you, because for a long time the marketing has been on your side, right? For the longest time, when they were the underdog with $1 trillion wallet, right? When they were the underdog with the $1 trillion wallet, they had you, and they had you right here, and they were like, "Come here, buddy, you're my buddy," you know. And then all of a sudden, now it looks like they're hating on you because you're in the backyard with the sniper rifle going, "I don't like what you're doing." You know what I mean? They need to. They created this problem. They need to cultivate. They need to at least speak to that audience, because they've been speaking to that audience for so long. You know what I mean? So for the fact that they're not anymore, while I'm not part of that audience, I can understand why that audience is feeling betrayed and or frustrated. You know what I mean?
The messaging isn't clear.
That's
and
right.
It's not going to be because they're figuring it out.
Now,
no.
Exactly. Even now, that message isn't clear. So my smoke, or my whole scenario here, if I was writing the headlines for this, it'd be still, you hardcore gamers don't know what they mean when they say case by case, because you don't. Nobody does, right? They say case by case, and no red line is definitive. That means be clear, look into your soul. Master Chief is going to be playing X and O's very soon. It is what it is. It's going to happen, right? But what is that barometer that gets that game to that place for those who care, right? And if you don't care about those who care, then shame on you, because you've cultivated them for years. You have.
Yeah. And that's a brand question they're going to have to answer, right?
They have to answer that
no
question.
Red line, fair enough, which means we'll evaluate, right? But that doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? And so that's for them to figure out. They have to figure out what makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But look, it's going to be uncomfortable. That's just the way it is.
Because
nobody's
done this before. But the truth of the matter is what I've just said here. And if you heard the sound of my voice, I want you to push back on any and everyone that makes it seem like Microsoft putting games on other platforms is like a win for the platform. No, it's not. They're walking into your backyard and stealing your junk. That's what they're doing. And you have nothing to say about it. And you're like, son of a bitch, why can't we get their money? These dudes are getting their money.
You're right.
That's what they're doing. So anytime anybody says, "Oh, yeah, they put it on PlayStation and that's not fair," I'm like, I'm sure PlayStation's going, "Them sons of bitches, they are stealing our wallet." Like, that's what they're doing.
Looking at like the holistic market, right? Nintendo and Xbox have massive IPs that sell massively. PlayStation really doesn't, unless you count Destiny, which unfortunately is faltering. So if Destiny maintains a certain level, that's great. That's their biggest game. If not, then that becomes a problem for them too, because their biggest franchise is Gran Turismo, only because they've had so many incarnations and that's sold as much as it has. Outside of that, like Spider-Man sold a bunch, but I don't. You saw those numbers, the financials, and I'm like, what the heck? Why are they even talking about these financials now? And it doesn't look that good. But either way, you have the sales that they have. They're not as big as the games that Nintendo and Xbox have.
100%.
They have the big games, right? And they make big profit. That's the beauty of it for them. And like that
hence the Concord experiments. They want a big game.
They want that.
Right.
They want that. They desperately want that. And that's what
they need one big monster. And
they got Helldivers.
I'll tell you, Hargi. I'll tell you, Hargi, they had some ideas in the tank that they let go. That Spider-Man thing, boy, oh my God.
They would have got my money.
I'm still mad.
But I think they looked at the financials and said it's not going to work, or the gameplay wasn't working. Right? There's a possibility the gameplay loop wasn't working.
True.
I don't think that. I think that's probably not the case. Insomniac's really good. I think it was more. They just looked at financials and said, "There's no way we can make money." It's because of the licensing fees involved. It's just it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, because it is an ongoing game. It would be presumably so they'd be ongoing fees.
Exactly, ongoing expense on top of fees, and it's like because now you're looking like what 500 to 1,000 people just to keep that running, and that's a lot
continuously
of overhead,
with continuous cadence and continuous payment and continuous seasons. And I get it. It's just if they wanted,
they said we want to put the resources.
They didn't want to deal with it. It's just if they wanted the big game, a Spider-Man multiplayer game would have been the big game. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think
good.
It looked good. I think so. The it won't make money. I think onto something, because how many Spider-Man skins are you gonna buy? Like this isn't like you're trying to buy. Like you look at what's going on with Call of Duty. There are skins for every character. Right, not just one of the characters. Now, if there was one skin for one of the characters and there was no other skins, no one would buy them. They'd be boring, right? So that does make a total sense. But you know what?
There's also one big other factor in that whole thing is a game that just released last week, Marvel Rivals,
Free to play.
True.
which Sony had
Millions
internal knowledge
and
of.
millions and millions and millions.
How are they
going to
compete with that?
Yeah,
I'll put it
that's
to this
true.
way. You know what's interesting? It's funny. It's not again not a topic, and we're gonna get onto the Game Awards now. But Overwatch 2 is hurting because of Marvel Rivals, right? And it's Overwatch 2 now. Again, not for me. I haven't played it, and I don't intend to. But that game has been hitting for years, and they keep having like different crossovers with the Transformers and here and there. And then Marvel Rivals free to play comes out of nowhere from NetEase, and it has stolen the thunder from every free to play game that's out there. Now, granted, Fortnite is going to be what it's going to be. I haven't heard much of Apex Legends. I don't play it, so if you're out there and you're an Apex Legend player, let me know. I don't know if it's a thing anymore. I'm sure it is. PUBG, but Marvel Rivals has exploded, and I don't see that thing slowing down because they're talking about they have an event coming with the MCU character skins, and they're just gonna. I mean, it's Marvel. Marvel's about to explode.
They have many characters, many characters that they can pull from. They don't even have to make anything up.
Yeah,
they have it already.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting. You know what? Real quick, before I read the super chats and before we get on to the second topic of the show, and that is, of course, the Game Award predictions, Aries_EMS asks a question. He says, does Xbox games going to PlayStation suddenly detract from your enjoyment of the game? Is the game suddenly crap because it's on a different platform? I mean, no, absolutely not. It is not. And again, beginning of the year, when they started talking multi-plat going to PlayStation, I'm not going to front. You heard me. I didn't like it. And I'm still not the biggest fan of it because I'm an old school cat. But look, and I said this to Asante privately. I said it to Hargeet. I'll say it publicly. As long as they're not taking anything off of my plate with Game Pass to give to somebody else, I'm still eating good. It's not a problem. I mean, again, I don't have control. I have no say on what goes where. Personally, and this is just me, I understand that you want more people playing Gears. You want more people playing Halo. They just announced over 42 million players for Forza Horizon 5, which is just bonkers. Those are the three that I personally, as the head of Xbox, which of course I'm not, would not budge on. I would absolutely be like, you know what? If they go, then I'm going too, because that is where I draw the line. But then again, I'm an old man, and those are the three. Those are the pillars. Does Fable go? I actually don't think so, to be honest with you. I think that's one of those exclusives that Hargeet was talking about. Do I think Perfect Dark goes? No, I don't think it goes either. Those are just two particular IPs that are. They are formed opinions on being Xbox exclusives. I can't see them going anywhere else. But then again, I'm also not running the show. But with that said, let me catch up on the two super chats here. First of all, Aries_EMS, like he's done before, has once again gifted 5 double barrel gaming memberships. Brother, that is incredibly kind of you, especially during the holiday season. Thank you so much for the generosity. And of course, thank you for the question. Now, Tony the Tank, what's going on, Tony? Welcome to the program. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, thank you very much for the generosity. He drops a very generous $2 super chat. So listen, Asante, we're going to go in reverse order. I went to I went to Hargeet first. I'm going to go to you first on this, the Game Awards. This, again, look, I have some of the stuff I sent you. So what are people saying, ladies and gentlemen? Well, this one comes from the Reddit Games, Leaks, and Rumors subreddit. And it basically says, according to Jeff Grubb, and he actually said this, and I saw when he said it, everyone I talk to is buzzing about the TGA announcements. Now, granted, we have heard from Jez Corden. I have his tweet here. And Jez was very simple. Like, Jez likes to tease. He's cunning. Jez Corden of Windows Central is cunning. And all he said is, and take it for what it's worth, it's simplistic. He basically said, ladies and gentlemen, and panel that Geoff Keighley has cooked for the Game Awards 2024. And of course, it got backed up by Paris Lilly. I talked about this the other day on the show, where he put simply just a GIF of Triple H just doing what Triple H does and, looking like a boss and shaking his head. And they're not the only ones. Now, Jason Schreier, still a rat, but you know what? He has good connections. So, of course, I'm going to tell you what he said specifically regarding two massive announcements. He didn't specifically say what brand it was for, but it's assumed that it's PlayStation. And here's why. In his statement regarding these two announcements, he says that it's that the announcements are specifically going to get the Kind of Funny cast excited. Now, if we know anything about Kind of Funny, which of course is Greg Miller led, they are PlayStation guys, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't like Kind of Funny, I hear you. I've been supporting them for years and will continue to do so. I like them over there a lot. I don't always agree with them, like Greg Miller's 6.5 out of 10 for Indiana Jones. I don't like that, but he is entitled to his opinion. But look, are they going to, listen, PlayStation's got to announce something sometime, right? Like it's the 30th anniversary of PlayStation. When are you going to announce something? Well, we did get some information, Kay Asante, from Hazador Gaming, as we always do, because Hazador, man, that guy is running in those trenches. It was a picture. It was sliced in half. The first top part of it was a picture of Days Gone. Right. Second part, blurred out. Now, there's a couple of things here. It's been rumored for quite some time now that Ben Studio is working on a gas game. I hope they're not, but it's what the rumor is. Is it a Days Gone gas game? Possibly. But this is where the excited PlayStation gamer in me says, wait a second now. Maybe Sony bent the knee, because there was a lot of public drama about they had pitched Days Gone 2, and the former director was like, you know what, Fangul, and he left, right? maybe we're getting a Days Gone 2. And look, I'm not going to front. I know I give Sony the business, but I could definitely sit down for another 60 hours and play another Days Gone. No, there is no questions asked. A Days Gone 2 would excite and ignite the PlayStation fan base. They haven't had much to talk about, Kay Asante. And then, of course, you sent me over the Half-Life 3.
There's just a lot of crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, let's get into it, man.
So all I will say, and if Boom hasn't done it, then I will do it. I will say the rumors that will be discussed here on the Double Barrel Gaming Network are not from us. We're just reading the damn internet.
We're just reading.
And going, that's crazy. That's all we're doing. We're saying this is crazy. I personally don't believe it, but oh boy, if it were to happen. Holy crap. Anyway, so it looks like, the rumor beyond the rumors that Boom has sent me, I then found another rumor, huge grains of salt. I mean, monster salt. Just go lie in salt and there's just no water. It's just
the
all
salt mines of Call of Duty salt.
That's right. That's right. And basically, it says there are rumors that Half-Life 3 will be announced at the Game Awards. That's almost close to, I don't know, Bloodborne 2. You know what I'm saying? Like another unicorn that you'll never end up seeing. But hey, who knows? They say because of the speculation that you described, right? And by the way, Schreier did also say that so he says, and there's a quote here that says, there are at least two things that will make you guys react like, holy crap, I can't believe this thing's here. And who was he talking to? He was talking to Kind of Funny guys, right? So the assumption is that it's PlayStation related, because Kind of Funny guys are PlayStation related.
Right.
But because of that rumor and speculation, a lot of people have been throwing a lot of stuff at the air, right? And this whole Half-Life thing is a bit more than just this part, right? There are people who are big VR, and that's why I'm like, be careful, folks. Like, breathe. You don't jump out of the air doing a dance just yet, because like Half-Life Alyx, which only came out for VR, right? People are saying that this fabled Half-Life thing would be another thing, because Valve does have a rumored headset they're planning on releasing. Right? Yes, I see you, Xbox gamer. Half-Life VR is indeed niche, but guess what? It's got Half-Life games when PC gamers haven't had that for years at this point, right? So the rumor and speculation is there may be another one of that. Again, I don't believe it. And even if there is a product that is in the Half-Life universe that does come out, if it can't be called Half-Life 3. If it is, man, I know gamers that will riot. Oh boy, oh boy. But yes, that's another one. And there's a lot of rumor. There's a lot of sources on the Half-Life rumor. So, like, while I still don't believe it, I see why people think it's a thing, because it's come from lots of different sources. So there's that, right? And then of course there's the rumor that Mr. Jez Corden put out there, the great Jez Corden put out there, and he seems to be tempering expectations a little bit, at least on the Xbox side of the house, saying not a ton from Xbox first party studios, but pending their own dev direct in Q1. Lots of epic multiplats. For the record, I've heard there will be epic multiplats.
Me too.
I won't say where I've heard it. I won't say what I've heard, but I've heard similarly that there are epic multiplats. I'll put that there. And then some other fun stuff. Who knows? So yeah. So once again, as we do around the Keighley season, it will be everybody around the old virtual campfire watching what exclusives pop out, right? So there's that. Myself and Everborn and the rest of some of our crew, we broke out the spreadsheet, did a very cynical review of who was going to win.
You need to get a whiteboard to put behind you and start doing the marker. Yes. Get the whiteboard.
Yeah. But yes, we've made our cynical choices of who we think will win what. So we're looking forward to it. And them exclusives and the world premieres and surprises, it does seem like they're going to be pretty substantial this time. So, but for my Xbox gamers out there, there are epic multiplats, meaning your system will get them too, but don't expect to see anything crazy like, I don't know, an Xbox handheld or something. I don't know about that.
Now, hold on. Hold your horses there, fella. Hold your horses. Yeah, Look, Hargeet, before I get to you, just got to say this. I am still on this hill, and I'm going to die here after tomorrow evening at whenever it ends.
Well, you still think there's a handheld coming?
I do.
Okay.
Why? It's for no reason other than
boom. If you are right, I will bend the knee right here. I'm standing. 6 foot man, I'm standing. I will bend the knee here. The whole show if you want, if that were to happen. Holy crap, if that were to happen. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Look, so I'm probably wrong. I've had people.
I hope you're not.
I've had people go say, "Boom doesn't know what he's talking about." Listen, I'm a fan. At the end of the day, I'm not a reporter. I'm not a journalist. I'm a games fan. So I'm allowed to have hopes and dreams. And my hopes and dreams, not that I'm not wrong. Who cares about being wrong? Like I said, if I'm wrong Friday morning, first thing, hey guys, gals, I got it wrong. I'm a boob. What do you want me to say? It's fine. But my hopes and dreams are that there's going to be an announcement. Why would I drive the stake through? If for what reason? Well, at the beginning of the year, and Colt Eastwood talked about this in his latest video, which was, by the way, fantabulous. He said, and he reminded people that at the beginning of the year's business direct meeting, Sarah Bond, president of Xbox, said that there would be exciting new hardware news in the holiday. Now, granted, I know that Paris Lilly specifically has debunked that the quote-unquote exciting holiday news was, the couple of new consoles that they have, which are the diskless Series X, the 2 terabyte Galaxy Edition, and the 1 terabyte S. he knows way more than I do, but I don't believe him. And that's not
I hope
because
he's wrong. I
That's
hope he's wrong.
not because he doesn't know what he's talking about. He knows a hell of a lot more than I do, but that's not my belief. That's not how I read those tea leaves. Now, granted, I could have read them wrong. Fine, whatever. But based on, and again, it's his opinion too. Colt Eastwood, he's gotten it wrong before. He has Mag, who has connections, one-to-one connections, has gotten it wrong because things change. In his new video, he was very suggestive about there potentially being a reveal at the Game Awards. That was the whole basis of his video. Is he right? I don't know. Am I wrong? Probably, but it's still where I believe they're going to be going, because 2026 is going to be the 25th anniversary of Xbox. They have a new what could be an open-ended console, being the first of its kind in all of console gaming. That would be asking a lot to release a handheld on top of that. I personally think, and again, I know that people go, well, but boom, you heard it. Phil Spencer said they were a couple of years out. Yeah, but Phil Spencer said a lot of things, and maybe he didn't want to let the cat out of the bag.
So here's one for your side of the argument, right? Here's one for your side, right? So let's assume late 2024, right? One of the last real big gaming things we're getting is the Game Awards. So let's assume a certain handset is shown off, maybe in vagaries or like lightly high level. Hey, this is what it might look like, or this is what it will look like, but we'll share more later, right? And that's late 2024. And then maybe you see a bit more at the June showcase, right? They add a bit more, put more fuel to that fire, maybe get a bit more intricate, tell you some of the features and some of the details that will happen. Then maybe at the fall or winter Game Awards of 2025, they announce it's coming in spring of 2026. If that does happen the way I say it's happening, then Phil was right, and you still get your reveal this year. It's still multiple years away. It doesn't get actually in your hands for multiple years. And, the software is probably still in the works, and the hardware is still... Hardware most likely is finalized, because they usually finalize the hardware way ahead of time. But the software is still being tweaked, and most likely we'll see what happens there. But like the process of showing it to you for the first time and it being in your hands to be purchased for the first time in your home may be enough years away that still rings true. Just a thought.
I mean, and it's a good one. Listen, what is your... Before we bring Hargeet in, what is your one pick that you hope is here at the Game Awards?
So I have only one thing I want to see at the Game Awards. I know it's going to be a lot of slander. I know it's going to be a lot of fun with all the ridiculous awards shows and the show off. Believe it or not, y'all going to be surprised by what I'm about to say. And I really, I want this deep in my soul. I'll be such a happy boy if this happens. All the speculation, all the rumors, all the awards and all the wrap it up B music that's gonna pop up, all that is what it is. I will be happy if you give me a 30-second spot, not even a minute, a full 30 seconds, showing gameplay possibly of Jet Set Radio Remake.
Oh yes.
Or hell, any of the Sega, like we're about to remake. Put some meat on those bones, because we've seen this thing in dribs and drabs and little teeny tiny leaky footage for a while. I want to see them go, look, this is what it looks like. Hey, it's running on a console or a PC or whatever. I want to see some of that new initiative that Sega has been bubbling up for quite some time now. Like if I saw that, I'd be like super happy. I'm the biggest Jet Set Radio Future fan like in the world. I think I am. I love that series. I still play it. Like if any at any given time, if you ask me when I play Jet Set Radio Future, it's probably months ago. And actually, as of right now, it was 4 days ago. So there you go. I'm a big Jet Set Radio Future fan. So they say they're remaking a Jet Set, and they've shown it. I want to see more. I want to see them put some dates on it. I want to see them treat it like a real game rather than a sizzle reel.
Yeah, listen. Great pick, Hargeet Johnny. Let's bring you in on the conversation before we get your one pick. there's been a lot of speculation. There's a lot of thought. There's a lot of theories. Real quick, Z Black Writer, generous, a friend of the program, has been here for years, said maybe a Surface Pro handheld. Actually, it's funny you say that, because if you watched Cold's video, he said that could be a possibility. And again, it's just a thought and a theory.
Reference design handheld.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Mean, Hargeet, there's been a lot of talk. You know, everything from Days Gone 2 possibly. And again, it's if you go to Hazardor Gaming's post, it is blurred out, but if you kind of just take a keen eye and you look at it, it is someone looking from a third person, very standard-esque Sony type of game. Maybe Corey Barlog, his game,
finally,
his space opera game. That's always possible. I know there were a few people talking about maybe Naughty Dog shows off their next game. Is it the new IP? Is it The Last of Us 3? I don't know. Listen, Sony is due, folks. Whether you want to hear it, you like it, or you hate it, they haven't announced very much in years. It's about time that they announce freaking something. In regards to Xbox, though, you know, we didn't think Xbox was going to have a couple of big announcements. And dude, you came to the Friday show like you always do, and you were like, "My God, Xbox has thrown down the gauntlet." We all did, because they took over the conversation. I think they can do it again, man, even with just 2 games. Let's get your thoughts, man.
Yeah, I mean, if the industry like analysts are saying it's not happening, that Xbox isn't going to put stuff out there as much as third parties, that could be a thing. Because understand, like, there's only so many slots, right? And if there's big epic third party announces, they're probably going to take that slot. We'll see what Xbox says. So, like, there was a lot of time spent with a couple of Xbox games last time, right? OD and Blade, where they spent a lot of time talking to them. I don't know that they'll have enough time to do that kind of thing, but maybe they do. One of the interesting things is Indiana Jones is out, and it's totally not in the TGAs at all, though it should be discussed at least a little. I wonder if something happens with that. That would be kind of interesting to see. I like as far as the announcements, I'm sure it's going to be great. As far as the Xbox announcements, we'll see. But look, we already had an epic showcase, right? We've had pretty good showcases so far this year, so it's been okay for whatever we've got. And I'm not worried about their their continued roadmap. It would be interesting to see something from Sony. Now, here's what could be killer. What if, like Xbox, Nintendo decides, hey, we're going to announce our Switch 2 at the Game Awards. Here's the teaser of the Switch 2. Boom, here you go. And it shows playing things like GTA 5 and Call of Duty Black Ops 6, right? Let's bring in the big guns, literally. And let's start saying, hey, all these games now that weren't on the Switch, here you are. They have all the games, right? And you can showcase those games and then pick a marquee. Probably I'm going to guess Mario, but pick a marquee thing to show, just like Hellblade was like here's what the graphical capability is going to be, right? Let's show it, right? Let's show it, a new gen Mario game, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. That would be a killer, awesome announcement. I don't know if they do it. Nintendo is in their own lane. They do their own thing. However, you never know. It could be bold and say, we're going to do it here.
That would be dope, dude. I'm not going to
our show. It's going to be our show. Right? I mean, like, wouldn't that be crazy? Like, that would be a fantastic announcement. I don't know if they'll do it, but I think that would just blow my mind. You know what? We're going to tease the Switch 2. We'll give you more in a few months. Stay tuned. Right? That would be so cool. I don't know what happens outside of that. Could there be hardware announcements from Xbox? Sure. Or there could be nothing. We don't know. Right? And then as far as like the game announcements, they have plenty of studios that we haven't heard from yet. They could certainly bring in any of those. They could just give us updates on stuff they've already shown us before. There's like, maybe they're ready to show something more about OD or Blade. They recently, like, Phil visited them, right, to see what's going on with that game. Maybe they have something to show. We'll see, right? It could be something like that. But I am looking forward to the third-party stuff. There's a lot of third-party games that we kind of forget are still coming that are pretty big. Right? So I'm looking forward to seeing more about those, and who knows what new things, right? New things that are going to come out that we don't know about. It'll be fun. And then Astro's going to win Game of the Year. And then
oh my goodness.
I like them daggers, man. I like them daggers out of nowhere.
Happen, but...
yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's
Well
actually
done.
going to happen, but it just feels like it's going to happen.
Either that or DLC is going to win. I'm just saying. Either that or DLC.
That's the other one. That's the other one. Do you see the user voice?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, come on. And granted, that is more of a popularity contest, but I don't think Metaphor even made it till the end.
Wow.
So, let me just see. I'm gonna hit. Yeah, so it's Black Myth Wukong, Genshin, Elden Ring, Shadows of the Earth Tree, Wuthering Waves, and Zenless Zone Zero. Those are the choices for user voice.
Oh wow.
So, at least Astro isn't in there, but look. Come on. I think obviously it's a popularity contest, right? And I'm disappointed Black Ops 6 didn't make it in there. Like that from a popularity perspective had a chance. It had a chance, but
no doubt about it. One of my it's my most played game of the year. Honestly, it's.
Did you guys see what Hip Hop put out?
No, I missed it.
Oh, he's like pleading for Geoff to somehow get Indiana Jones in there, because like it's his god.
He's not the only one though.
It is like, he's got to come in.
I've heard a lot of people talk about it. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. It is now Lucy James, GameSpot. I think GameSpot. Right? Yeah, I heard her on the podcast as recently as this morning talking about how it has superseded her existing as the new game, her game of the year. And I would assume she and or her.
I'm so annoyed. They put it out in December. Jerks.
Sure.
Xbox.
Yeah, I would assume her organizations or the organizations that she works for are voting members. So at least she thinks
of course,
it deserves to be. Yeah.
And there'd be plenty of people who would do the same.
But
here's the
thing, Hargeet. But here's the thing, Hargeet. Here's what gives you a bit of hope, because they released it in December on Xbox. It got what is it? 50 reviews on PC and 30 reviews on Xbox, or vice versa. It's like barely hit. It didn't even hit 60 or whatever. Right?
It's good. It's fine. Right.
Wait until spring/summer when it comes to PS5, and it has 135 reviews. Guess what will then show up on the 2025 game of the year? Because guess what?
Yes.
Now it's on the platform of choice. It gets another.
Everybody keeps saying that
round.
It's okay. It is in contention, but you have to understand, Xbox alone has a massive year coming. So you're saying it's going to overshadow everything they're putting out?
No, we're not talking about whether it overshadow. No, I'm not saying whether it will or will not overshadow. I'm just saying that the idea usually
get a category or two.
Well, the point is, usually these games that come out in December, right, don't get seen or heard from again because you forget it, right?
Right.
Without the the exception of something like a Cyberpunk, which then gives you Phantom Liberty, that gives you another chance at it, right? Because cynically or not, they're releasing this later in the year 2025 on the PS5, which gives people another chance to revisit the game, and probably a bigger install base will play it. I.e. the PlayStation install base.
It's not going to be in the Gotti discussion, but I'm hoping at least for the performance, it'll be there.
Yeah, it'll get something. Troy Baker deserves an award
maybe
for
narrative.
Voice.
Narrative, it probably deserves it. But the thing is, again, we have very big games coming. It's very possible that those games overshadow it. That's just the way it goes. Unfortunately, this year it could have done something, but next year I don't know. We'll see. And we have yet to see the announcements that are coming at the TGAs about what's coming next year, right? So
yes, and there's going to be quite a few big ones for sure. Look, what's the one game you actually want to see there?
That I want to see there. I mean, there's plenty of games we've already seen quite a bit of. I really want to see something new, but again, for me, it would be killer if Nintendo shows up with Mario.
Okay,
that would be so awesome to see a next gen Mario. And if they have somehow an upgraded version of Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, along with it, that would be fantastic.
You want to see that? I can show it to you. You have a 4090, right? I'll give you some time. I'm just saying.
I want the official.
Nintendo
is putting out.
Yeah.
Here it is.
I'm being
Here's
ridiculous.
What the new Switch does.
Forgive the slander.
Right.
Forgive the slander.
Right. I want to see what they can pull off. Right.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. Outside of that, there's a lot of like Take-Two stuff. Like there's a BioShock game, Judas, coming out.
Yep.
Like, Mafia is coming out. Those are some pretty big ones. Borderlands. Any one of those. Let's get some updates on those.
Those two have been confirmed to be there. Borderlands 4 as well as Mafia 4.
There you go.
Those are going to be there. That's been confirmed.
Yep.
Nice.
So like those sound good to me. Like, you know, that's why I want them to buy Take-Two.
There you go. Now you're talking. And of course, the new person taking over for Lena Khan is very friendly when it comes to mergers and acquisitions. M&A is.
But you know, but like, you know, outside of that, I don't know. Like there's whatever is coming out from Valve. Usually, whatever they put out tends to hit. They've had a few fails, but mostly their games have been pretty good. So whatever they're going to put out is probably going to be pretty good. So we'll see what that is. A crazy announcement would be some partnership with Valve making a Steam console, right? And showcasing it there, right? Hey, coming out mid to late 2025, Steam console.
Could happen. We've already seen their logos powered by Steam. Could happen.
Right?
Indeed.
That would be fantastic. Let's see it. That's more competition. And that, by the way, has all the games.
All of them.
No longer do you
have
have
PlayStation.
Of like,
it doesn't have Nintendo official games yet, but...
No. You have everything.
Yeah, it's true.
It would be an interesting thing to see. So we'll see. I don't know what Microsoft's plans are in that arena. We'll see what they're doing. There's so much that could happen. But yeah, let's just see the games. Let's just enjoy it.
Yeah, let's sit back and enjoy. So of course, before we get out of here, before I read the last couple of super chats, I got to give my pick. Now, I know there's going to be some people that are going to yay me, and there's going to be some people throwing the virtual tomatoes because I talked about this, and it's vaporware. It has been vaporware. It has not been proven that it exists. I think it's time that we see what the coalition's been working on in their second game, and maybe that second game, in fact, is the Gears of War collection. Gears 1, 2, and 3 redone in Unreal Engine 5 from the ground up, new releases, old titles. That would bring the house down. That's one of those announcements. And again, folks, I know that it's vaporware. I know that we've heard. I mean, I talked to someone who told me straight face that it exists, and well, we haven't heard anything since. Well, listen, could people be wrong? Sure. I personally don't think so. This would be one of those types of announcements that if in fact it did get announced at the Game Awards, I don't care. See, the only thing that would steal shine from this is what Hargeet said, and that is if Nintendo showed up, because they normally don't. Hell, they're not even. I think they got 2 nominations. I think maybe 1 or 2. So if Miyamoto comes out and he's there, if you see him there, they're announcing something Nintendo console related. If he's not there, it's unlikely that they're gonna get any kind of a Nintendo announcement. But I will say this: if you see anybody from the coalition there, I mean, they're probably going to be in the audience. But if you see somebody come up, man, there's a chance that Gears of War collection that's been rumored, that is, you know, quote unquote vaporware, as the kids like to say, could be a thing. Now, I've heard some, you know, back and forth on it. Would it be a multi-plat announcement? Would this be like, hey, it's on Xbox, go play it, and it's coming to PlayStation in spring? I don't know. I wouldn't like that personally. I think this should be an Xbox only announcement. I don't care what you do with it a year later, 2 years later. But if you're going to announce the Phoenix collection as it's known, as it's rumored to be called, it's got to be an Xbox only. Of course, it's going to come to PC, because PC's only had the Gears of War 1. It didn't have Gears 1, 2, and 3. And I'm sure a lot of people want to play it on PC. So this would be a great opportunity, and it would bring the house down. It would literally be all anything people would talk about for the Game Awards. It would not even be who won. No one's going to give a flying shit if the Marcus Phoenix collection gets announced. It will envelop all conversation, and rightfully so. But that is going to do it for us.
FYI,
here.
it's 6 noms for Nintendo.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, there you go. Thank you. 6 noms. All right. I thought it was only 2. Well, there you go. Appreciate that. Let me catch up on the super chats here. We have Will Broke Boy Lewis, generous friend of the program, drops an outstanding $10 super chat and says, not sure if you saw this from Windows Central. Microsoft's Xbox app for Windows just got one of its biggest ever updates. The update adds roughly 400 games to it that weren't available before. I did see it. I think we're going to talk about it, me and C Money tomorrow, but I didn't get a chance to read the article. That's a big deal. Now, granted, it's very PC focused, and it is a big update for the app. And obviously, they're pushing forward with being very involved with PC. And they're not abandoning the console, folks. It's just that, well, PC is a freaking big market that they could no longer ignore. I'm glad that they did this update. Thanks so much for the super chat, brother, and thank you for the info. Quick Gameplay drops a very generous $5 super chat. And Quick Gameplay goes on to say, I think the show ends with Microsoft. Could be announcing new hardware, but what about announcing a new acquisition? Square Xbox is going to expand. Look, I'll put it to this way. After January 6th of 2025, Lena Khan is gone. She is going to be out the door.
It's January 20, just FYI. January 20th is just
that's just when he takes over. January 20th. Thank you so much for the correction. Yeah. So January 20th, she's officially gone. The guy that Trump announced is very pro acquisition and merger. He's one of those M&A guys that is not going to put it to this way. He's not going to get in the way of business like Lena Khan did. And she stifled, tech business, whether it's good, bad, or otherwise. She stifled business, and the new person taking over is not going to be in the way. The whole lawsuit thing with the FTC is going to go right out the window. They're going to close the case. Microsoft is going to win, as we know that they should anyway, and it's going to be done with. I think, again, this is just my thoughts and theories. First quarter of 25, they make an announcement for an acquisition. What that is, I don't know. I'm with Hargeet. I like the idea of Take Two. I think that is fantabulous, but we'll see. So thank you so much for the generosity. We also have Kingfish here, who's been a channel member for 34 months. Kingfish, salute, brother. Thank you so much for the generosity. He says, evening, boom, and panel. What if we hear something about contraband tomorrow? I mean, that's one that we haven't heard about, and that's been dead silent. I know some people are saying, oh, no, it's been canceled. I can confirm that it is not canceled. But that's a great idea. That's a fantastic idea. Your baby's father. What's going on, brother? Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Your baby's father goes on to say, what up, guys? I'd love to see Microsoft give the absolute minimum to the Game Awards and save the best stuff for their own show next month. The viewership of the MS show will continue to grow. Yeah, I mean, Hargeet and I were talking about that. They're probably going to have some sort of a direct in January. It's just become standard fare. And that's obviously going to be showing off all of the big bangers that is coming in 2025 for them. And that's going to be very interesting. So we also have here She-Hulk 10. Hey, She-Hulk, thank you so much for being here. And of course, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. She-Hulk goes on to say, I think a new Gears of War trailer with old school music will be shown at the awards. I mean, that's a good possibility.
She's talking Mad World trailer. That'd be
Mad
something.
World trailer with yeah. I mean, that would, again, that's one of those announcements I think would be perfect for the Game Awards. It should be so epic, man. Thank you so much for the generosity, and thank you for being here as always. Simon Brandy drops a very generous £5 super chat. And Simon goes on to say, you noticed ponies aren't quiet on you noticed ponies are quiet on the PlayStation 5 Pro. Even D has stopped shilling. I know it's a scam because I returned mine to Amazon. Most pointless console ever. Look, if there's one thing that we know about Sony is when they're winning, they take it and rub it in your face. And they keep rubbing until you got windburn-like rashes on your face because that's who Sony is. They will be the first one to tell you how fantastic that they're doing, how many consoles sold, how many people bought it, how many of this, that, and the third. When you don't hear anything from Sony, it's because the numbers are bad. You didn't hear numbers for Horizon Lego. You didn't hear numbers for the PlayStation 5 Pro. There are reasons for it. Sony is very bullish like that. So great point, and thank you so much, Simon, for the generosity. Lastly, Torino Johnson, hey, kind sir, welcome, the salute to you. Thank you very much for the very generous $5 super chat. And Torino goes on to say, Starfield just dropped the Doom World verified side quest mod today. You get the Doom armor and gun. The Hellgate awaits. Next, we need a Halo mod. You also get the sword as well, which looks dope. I think I saw how you got to find it to get that mission, but that's an official mission. Like, you actually have to go to like those polls where they make the announcements, and you can find that mission there. Yeah, it looks dope. I saw a lot of people. Nico, for instance, was showing off the armor and the sword. It looks really legit, and I agree. I think there would be a dope one to get a Master Chief armor would be awesome as well. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for us here at Primetime Gaming. If you're wondering why we're doing shorter shows, one, it's easier on my back. That's number one. Number two, we're at the end of the year. We've already given you our spiel for the Game Awards, our hopes, our dreams, what we've heard, what we think. And of course, we talked about the Matt Booty interview. I'm gonna be back here tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with of course C Money. Friday morning, Cargeet's going to be joining us. We're going to be doing the post-Game Award show as we always do every year. That should be fun because at that point, we'll know everything. All the cats are off the bags and they're running rampant, and it's going to be fun. I can't wait to get into it. But let's get everyone out of here, Cargeet. Let's sell your brand, kind sir. People need to know where, A, they can go and buy the book, of course, called Emergence, which is behind you, where they can also subscribe to your YouTube channel, and more importantly, not follow you, sir, on social media.
Yeah, so if you want to pick up my sci-fi novel, Emergence, kind of a Mass Effect-like story, you can pick it up at shop.shiny.us. Go there and have fun. YouTube, if you want to subscribe to my channel, HargeetShiny1. And then I will be on, as Boom said, I'll be on Friday. I don't think I'm on with anybody tomorrow. I'll just watch it. And I actually have a meeting in the middle of it at 10:30 in the evening. But anyway, so I'll watch that, and then we'll talk about it, Friday morning. And then Friday evening, I'll be on with C Money and Doodle at On Point for Gamers for night shift, 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Check that out. And then I'll be on again Saturday and Sunday. Saturday with Fonz, 6 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, and Web Dave on Sunday at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. And with Web Dave, we have Sean and
he's great, dude. And, that he is.
I'm letting it out. I really probably shouldn't, but I'm letting it out. You guys can enjoy it. It'll be fun.
Oh yes, I'm sure it's going to be fun because Sean's going to be there, and Sean is no stranger to the slander. I love him and Dirk Griggity when they get going. That is going to be fun. Toby Moss actually in the chat. So Toby Moss, welcome. I've never seen your name before, so thank you so much for popping in here and hanging out. He says this is now, again, I didn't even think about this. This would be a drop everything announcement. It's broken the internet. People are running. Pandemonium has broken out. People are throwing chairs in the audience. And he says, I heard they're remaking Dino Crisis. Unfortunately, it would be without Mikami. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't think they need him. I'm not being facetious. Mikami is a legend, but they don't have to do anything with Dino Crisis. Just freaking remake it already. I mean, as much as I love Resident Evil, and I'm Mr. Stan Resident Evil, come on. Either you do that, or you do Onimusha, or you do both. Can we please? Thank you, Capcom. But Que Asante, let's sell the brand of the Gaming Circle podcast. Of course, Saturday morning, you and the Neeless one, who of course is, I was hoping to join us, but he's hung up with life. are going to be doing the Gaming Circle podcast, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturday morning. And of course, I would imagine that the topic of the show is going to be the fallouts from the Game Awards. Who won? Who got snubbed? What are the big announcements? Tell everyone where they can tune in to that show. Follow you on social media, but more importantly, subscribe to your YouTube channel.
So yeah, thank you everybody for being here. You know, it's always fun to hang out with you guys and just talk some games. It is exciting. It's exciting times. The universe is doing its best to make sure I don't get to finish playing Indiana Jones, but I'm going to fight the universe. I have to work tomorrow. I'll make it early. I'm going to play. I really want to spend like the whole weekend playing that game. But yes, as Boom said, catch me and Mr. Everborn Saga on the Gaming Circle podcast on Saturday mornings. We will call it The Reckoning, because not only are we talking about all the things that we saw and happened at the Game Awards, we're breaking out the spreadsheet. We're talking about what we thought, who we thought was going to win, because we have we kept the digital receipts. They're all there, and we're going to ridicule people live on air. Probably me getting ridiculed, but all the wrong takes that I had. So it will be fun. Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm looking forward to it. It's the second to last show of our year, because after that, holidays and all of that. And oh, by the way, just a quick aside, a little homework for those who want to do it. You have every right to go to the Gaming Circle podcast, the KSanti Discord, the KSanti YouTube channel. Subscribe, of course. Find the Discord. Join our Discord, because if you find we have a similar breakout sheet on the Discord where all our community members are filling it out, and the winner who comes closest to getting all of it right gets a pretty damn good prize.
Oh, nice,
and we're gonna do that as well. So come check us out. The GCP Gaming Circle podcast, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturday morning, and of course myself and Mr. Wolf, John Wolf, Monday night. Every other Monday, this Monday coming up, we will be hosting the Gamers Playground, where we talk PC games and all that, the stuff that Valve is doing to basically take over both all of console and VR. That's what we'll be talking about.
Very interesting. Real quick, shout out to Spartan661. Thank you so much for the Christmas tree. That is all Mrs. Boom. Let me get out of the way. There we go. I'm not allowed to put a single ornament until she has strategically lined everything up. I know a lot of people are like, hey, Boom, where's the Xbox or the Master? This theme is Nutcrackers. Jose works in themes, and if you've seen the pictures all over the house, this year it's Nutcracker. A couple of years ago, it was all toys and video games, and of course, the whole tree was packed with video game stuff, because that's the theme. That's not the theme this year, but this tree still looks dope. And obviously, we love the holidays. And shout out to King Styles, brother. I'm sorry again. I try to welcome in everyone as I like doing. I think it's we like to try and get everyone's name posted in here at one point or another. Apologies if I didn't get to you. I tried. It's a lot, but thank you so much for being here. Stage on X. I see you there, brother. Thank you so much for joining us. Real quick, folks, don't forget. Okay, so today is the 11th. In 9 days, we will be holding our 7th annual Christmas with Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick. Folks, it is going to be a monstrous show. When I tell you, I'm nervous about it, because we enjoy giving. That's our thing. We enjoy giving because other people need, and we want to be the people out there handing out things for people that need. It's just who we are. But we are giving away, folks. You heard me talk about this before. $2,000 in 2 hours. I don't know any other channel that's done this. We have never, ever done anything this big. This is the biggest contest we've ever done. We're giving away 10 $100 gift cards to your platform of choice, whether that be Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo eShop, or even Steam. And we have this year 4 grand prize winners of $250. So of course it's going to be a stressful day, because of my thing isn't the money. Of course it's a lot of money, but it's just getting the prizes that's always that stresses me out, because I hate making people wait. We try to get all the prizes on point. We like to have everything done by the end of the weekend, so people could then go take that and maybe you need it to buy someone a gift. Maybe you want to just splurge on the end of the year sale. Whatever you're going to do with it, if you win, we want to make sure you get it. And honestly, I know it's a lot of money, $2,000, and it is, but we could never, unfortunately, do that ourselves. We do that based on your generosity, the super chats, the channel membership chats, the gifted subs. Those all work for us to deliver these types of giveaways. And by the time the year is done, we will have given over $4,000 in prizes. And that's
Wow. That's excellent, Boom.
And again, it's listen, it's just our way of paying it forward to how generous this community has been towards me and Mrs. Boom. We love you all. We want to give as much as we can. And do not miss that show. If you're in the chat and you put the hashtag in, you got a shot of 14 prizes, 10 $100 gift cards, and 4 $250 prize packs. And that is going to be the end of the year for us. And again, it's just our way of paying it forward. But a big thank you to everyone that's here. We certainly appreciate it. Before you get on out of here, hit the like button, share this on social media. And of course, I want to say something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully, one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and Friends.